All right, we just started recording. We're now ready to begin. We're starting over here on the left on your screen. I assume everyone can see the screen. We begin the Pirkei Avos class. Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Chelik Le'olam Haba. We're over here on the left of the screen. All of Israel has a share in the world to come. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk in Yeshaya, V'amech Kulam Tzadikim. Your entire nation is righteous. Lo'olam Yeshu Oretz. They shall forever inherit the land. Neitzer Mata'ai. They are the branch of my planting. Ma'aseh Yodai L'Hispo'er. They are the work of my hand, that I may be glorified, says Hashem. We are on Perek Beis, and we're in the Mishnah of Mishnah Vav, which we started last night, and we're going to continue with it today. The Mishnah says, Hillel is talking. Afu ro'a golgoles, achas, shetzafa al pnei hamayim. He saw a skull, one skull that was floating on the water. Allah, and Hillel said to the skull, Al da'ateit atafuch, because you drowned someone, you were drowned. The sof, the tifayich, yitufun. And the end result of those who drowned you is that they in turn will be drowned. Now we spoke yesterday about the fact that there's a concept here of Midah Keneged Midah, and we said that the Midah Tova, the good measurement of Hashem, outweighs the bad measurement of Hashem, so to speak, that when someone deserves punishment, they get punished up to a certain degree, while the reward is way beyond that. How much beyond that? We have, based on a pasuk in the Aseres HaDibros, that Hashem does kindness la'alafim. Hashem does kindness to thousands. The minimum of thousands is 2. Consequently, he does kindness for 2,000 generations. Punishment, al shleshim va'al ribeim l'sonai, the most it could be is to the 3rd or 4th generation. So 2,000 to 4 is a ratio of 500 to 1, and goodness is paid back 500 times to 1 more than punishment. But there are serious issues with this particular Mishnah. One of them is, it's not so that everyone who does evil and everyone who kills, as the Mishnah states, not everyone who drowns someone is drowned. We know the very first instance of murder in this world was Cain, who killed Hevel. And the Chumash does not record, although the Medrash does, but the Chumash does not record the punishment of Cain. The Medrash says Cain was killed. But that's not our discussion. We're going by what the Chumash says at first. It says, because you drowned someone, therefore you were drowned. And the one who drowns you is also going to be drowned. But if you take a look at the Mishnah, it says an interesting thing. It says, V'sof letifayach yitufun. The end result, in the final analysis, the one who drowned you is going to be drowned. Now, this concept is a concept that we must inculcate within ourselves when we think about good and evil. I mentioned this about a week ago or more, that one of the basic principles of Emunah and of the Torah ideology is the following: all good is rewarded, all evil is punished. This is something that is so basic to the to the concept of Emunah that if someone wants to become a Ger Tzedek, if someone wants to come to a Bezdin and wants to convert, and amongst the 70, 80 questions that are put to them on a regular basis, and if they don't have all the answers, they have to go research it and come back. One of them is, do you believe? Do you accept? Do you understand that all good is rewarded? Is all good rewarded? Is all evil punished? If you don't accept that all good is rewarded and all evil is punished, you're not going to pass the exam to become a Jew. Because a Jew has emunah, the emunah shalema. I have complete belief that Kadosh Baruch Hu, Abore Yisbarach Shemo, Ubore Umanig, he's the one who runs the whole world. And that there's a world to come. And that there's reward and that there's punishment. And if you don't believe that there's reward and there's punishment, ultimately, then you're missing out on the basic tenets of Yiddishkeit. You're missing out on one of the basic principles of the Torah. Hillel is coming along and he's saying that extra word, visof, in the end result is that the one is going to be drowned. Now, as I mentioned before, we did once mention in a discussion that all good is rewarded. We just mentioned it again, and all evil is punished. And we have to understand this. We must understand this. Rabosai, many times, very often, we think they're getting away with murder. Or we think, look at this tzaddik, how he suffers. Where is the reward? We sometimes think the Jewish people are the most righteous nation on earth. It's a nation, the aggregate goodness of the Jewish people over all of history shines out as a beacon of light to all. And yet, the persecution hasn't ended for one moment. It's an ongoing litany of hatred, murder, and pillage and plunder, of destruction, of burnings at the stake, of auto-da-fés, of Kazakh revolts, of Nazi Yamach Shimon persecutions, Spanish Inquisitions, Greeks, Romans, Persians, all of them. It's almost endless. And yet, we're the most righteous nation on earth. How could such a thing be? So many people ask, how could it be? How could it be? And when I think to myself, when we think to ourselves, what could 1.5 million children possibly have done wrong to be gassed in gas chambers? What did the other 4.5 million people, honest goodness, good people, what could they have done wrong? And we don't have an answer. We don't have an answer for that. But we have an emunah that the good is rewarded and the evil is punished. And let me explain one aspect of that that might help you a little bit. Let's think about this. Is there a way to take an evil person, a murderer, who murders one human being, a murderer who murdered one human being, is there a way to punish adequately that person here on earth? Is there an adequate way to punish him? Yes, Bezdin has a responsibility to put him to death. There's no question about it. Bezdin has a responsibility, if there are witnesses, to be investigating the crime and to put him to death. But let's think about it. As Hashem said to Cain, Kol demei ochicha, to'akim elai min ha'adama, the voice of the bloods of your brother. Notice, it says in the pasuk, Kol demei ochicha, the voice of the bloods of your brother. Why is it in plural? Rashi asks that question way back in Bereshis. Why does it say demei, the bloods of your brother? Why doesn't it say kol dama chicha, the voice of the blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground? It doesn't say dam, it says demei, and demei means damim shel, the bloods of. Why does it say it in plural? And Rashi answered the question, because it says domo, the dam zarosov, his blood, the dam zarosov, and the blood of all the possible children that could have come from there. His blood you spilled. By spilling his blood, you killed the world. The Gemara says, anyone who keeps one Jew alive, one human being alive, it's as if they kept the whole world alive. If someone kills one person, it's as if he killed the whole world, because after all, we all came from one person. Can you imagine that? Picture 6 million worlds. Not just 6 million people, 6 million worlds. I'll give you an example. My oldest son-in-law, who married my oldest daughter, was one of 13. His mother was a single child of Holocaust survivors. She was a single child of Holocaust survivors. She had 13. Those 13 are all married. They all have large families, You're talking of well over 100 people. More than 100, trust me, B'li and Hara. Because their children's children are also married and also have children. 5, 6, 7, each one. And this is one person. So let me ask you again, if you kill one person, if a person kills one person, is there an adequate way to punish that person here on earth? Is killing them an adequate punishment? It's a required punishment. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that's what you have to do. But is that really his due? Her due? Is it really something that's going to balance out? You know the answer to that as well as I do. There is no way to balance it out. The terror, the absolute hopelessness and helplessness that was felt by so many. You can't even punish a person adequately on this world for that, let alone for their gassing and murder and burning of their bodies and taking away the future that they so beautifully could have had. 6 million futures. You can't punish a person adequately on this earth for what the Nazis did. No one, not the Nazis, not the Romans, let's go back, not the Egyptians, not the Persians, not the Babylonians, not the Spaniards, not the English, not the French, not the Czechoslovakians, Yugoslavians, Russians, all of them, the whole litany. You can't come up with enough to take a Stalin and a Hitler and say adequate punishment. There's no way that they can be punished. And therefore, Hillel says, the sof, in the end result, that's when Yetufun, they're going to get theirs. Eternal damnation, if necessary. And the most excruciating reality of the destruction of decency that they had in their hands, that will cause them untold anguish forever and ever and ever. And it can't possibly be equaled in this world. And that's why we say all evil is punished. And if not in this world, you and I both know this world will not be enough to punish them. But they'll get that ultimate punishment in the world to come. And let's go to the reward. Let's go to the reward, people. Let's go to the reward. Think about this. Think about what happens. Someone is down and out. Someone is down and out. They reached the nadir of their existence. They feel like there's no point in going on. And you come along. You smile at them. And you tell them, I'm with you. I share with you. I love you, my fellow Jew. I will go out of my way to try to help you. I will give charity so that you can get on your feet. I will open a chesed organization that gives you what you need in terms of medical help. I will provide food for your children. I'll send Tomchei Shabbos packages to your house because you can't afford more than peanut butter and jelly for Shabbos. And I'm going to send you fish and kugel and simmis and challah and cake and soda and wine. I'm going to give you everything cholent. I'm going to make your Shabbos beautiful. Let me ask you something. What can you give this person in this world that's going to reward him adequately? What are you going to give him? Give her. What are you going to give that person? What are you going to give the person that gave another person a reason to live, a sense of belonging, an idea that there is a God, the concept that the Jewish people are eternal and you're a part of it. And you're a part of it. You're a part of it because you do a mitzvah. And if you do a mitzvah, you created malachim. You've given birth to children, malachim. You give money to a yeshiva and you teach a child, that child is yours. That's why at the beginning of Shmos, when it talks about the children, the beginning of Bamidbar, when it talks about the children of Moshe and Aaron, it only mentions the children of Aaron because Moshe taught them Torah. And Kol HaMelamed is Ben Chaveiro Torah Malo Olov HaKosav Ke'ilu Yelodo. You taught someone how to put on tefillin. You bought tefillin for someone who never wore tefillin? You just bought a ticket to Olam Haba. You gave Shabbos lunch to someone who never had lunch. You just bought a ticket to Olam Haba. You went to visit someone and cheered them up when they were down. You called and wished a good Shabbos. You smiled at someone when they were hanging with their head in the ground because they thought there's no hope. Can you give such a person a reward in this world? What are you going to give them? What are you going to give them? $1 million? What's $1 million to saving a life? What's $1 million to helping somebody get through life? What's $1 million to someone who helps someone get healed, both physically and spiritually, emotionally? What could you possibly give? So Hillel is saying right there. The soap. It's all at the end. At the end, you're going to see that the reward is there. The punishment is there. Because in this world, no way. There is no way in this world you're going to see that reward. There is no way in this world you're capable of seeing that punishment. It's beyond this world. It's otherworldly. And because it's otherworldly, it's impossible to fathom the extent of the good and the equal punishment for the evil. And that's what Hillel is talking about when he says V'sof. And now, I want you to take a look. I want you to take a look at a pasuk that helps us understand what the prime example, the quintessential convert, Yisro, had to say when he realized what Hillel was talking about. Take a look at these psukim. We have it on this middle page right here. Okay, my arrow is right there pointing to Perek Yudches Pasuk Vav in Shemos. Yisro comes to the Jewish people. The pasuk says, "Vayomer Yisro," and Yisro said, "Baruch Hashem, blessed is God." By the way, Yisro was the first person ever in the whole world who said the words Baruch Hashem. No one said it before him. Yisro was the first one. Vayomer Yisro, and Yisro said, Baruch Hashem asher hitzil eschem miyad Mitzrayim u'miyad Paro. Blessed is God who saved you from the hand of Egypt, from the hand of Paro. Asher hitzil eschem mitachas yad Mitzrayim. That he saved the nation from beneath the hands of the Egyptians. I'm going to erase some of the. I'm going to try to bring the. The rest of the page closer into the middle, so it can be seen. Let's see if I can do that now. 1 second. Okay. One minute, we're going to bring it over. It'll take a minute. We're going to bring it into the middle. Okay, there we go. Now it's in the center page. Okay, now, so now we're now on that same page. We're gonna move over to here. So Yisro said this. Now watch this. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Ato yodati. Now I know. Look at this. Ato yodati. Now I know. Ki gadol Hashem mikol ha'elokim. Now I know that God is greater than any, I should say, Mikol Elohim, because that means other gods. Now I know God is greater than all other gods. And Rashi on this, you take a look at it. It's unbelievable. What Rashi says, I'm going to look at it with you in a minute. Right over here, you see the Rashi? Ato Yadati, look what he says. Okay? Ato Yadati, Makiro oyisi l'sha'ovar. I knew about it before, v'achshav biyoser, but now I know it even more. Mikol ha'elohim, why? Melame, this teaches, shahaya makir b'chol avodas elilim sheba olam. Can you imagine that? Yisro knew about every single idol that ever existed. He worshipped all of them. There wasn't one idol that Yisro didn't try out. Let me give you the trial run. Maybe this guy's the legitimate real thing. Let's see. Wow. Unbelievable. Next Rashi. Then at the pasuk at the end, let's look at this pasuk over here. You see the pasuk, I'm highlighting it here at the end. Ki vadovar asher zodu aleihem. Now, what does that mean? Ki vadovar asher zodu aleihem. Ki vadovar, because with the thing, asher zodu, that they were purposeful about, that's the word mezid, aleihem, is on them. That makes no sense. Because of the thing that they were purposefully doing, aleihem, on them. So Rashi comes along and explains. Let's go down to the Rashi now. We're starting over here, on the bottom, over here on the left, if you'll take a look. Kiva dover, you see that? And we're going to go to the top of the next page. Kiva dover, and now we're going to highlight that. Kiva dover asher zodu aleihem. Okay, you all see it highlighted, right? Kiva dover asher zodu aleihem. Says Rashi, ketar gumo. This is exactly the way the Onkelos Targum translates it. B'mayim bikshu la'abdom. There's a word missing in there. I don't know why, but it's missing. In the water, they wanted to destroy them. Veheim ne'evdu b'mayim. Oh, this is unbelievable. What did the Egyptians try to do to the Jewish people when they were in Egypt? They took the males and threw them in the river. They drowned them. Oh, they drowned them. They drowned them. And what did Hillel say? I saw, it says, Af uro gogoles al chash shetzofa al pnei hamayim. I saw a skull floating on the water, and I said to it, you know why you're there? You're there because you drowned the others. Here we come back to the Rashi. What did the Egyptians do? Keep mayim nevdu b'mayim. They tried to destroy the Jews with water. Asher zodu, asher hishiyu. They wanted to do wicked to the Jewish people by drowning them in the water, and they ended up in water. And our rabbis explained it based on the pasuk in Bereshis by Yaakov, by Yozed Yaakov Nozid. Yaakov cooked the cooking. That's what a cooking means. You know what happened with the Egyptians? Look at this. Bikdeira asher bishlu, in the pot that they cooked up for the Jews, bonis bashlu. That's what they were cooked in. You Egyptians tried to destroy the Jewish people by drowning them in the water. You know what happened to you? You were drowned in the water. You were drowned in the water because Hadavar Asher Zadu, that which you were cooking against the Jews, it ended up against you. Yisro saw this. Midah, Keneged Midah, absolute clarity. They tried to take the Jews and drown them in the water, and they succeeded with many of the children. They succeeded. But the end result, the Jewish people saw the Yod HaGadolah, Asher Asa Hashem Mitzrayim, Vayaminu B'Hashem of Moshe Avdo, Oz Yashir Moshe, Uvenei Yisrael as Hashiva Hazos. And that's when Moshe and the Jewish people sang the song of the Shiur, Zekei Levi Anveyu. This is my God, and I will glorify him. I will be a glory to him by virtue of my keeping of the commandments and helping others to do that, as Hillel himself was wont to say. Consequently, this Mishnah is unbelievable, because this Mishnah is telling us exactly what happened with the Egyptians. This is exactly what they did. They tried to kill the Jews. They drowned them in the water. They were drowned. That's Hillel's Mishnah. You drowned, you were drowned. And ultimately, you're just going to get drowned and no one else is going to be drowned. But Romans tried something else. And where is Rome today? Isn't it interesting? We Jews, we go to the Colosseum, where they used to take the Jews and use them as sport for the lions. And the amphitheaters they built throughout the land of Israel. And we're here. There are bar mitzvah boys who make bar mitzvahs on top of Masada, where the Romans tried to wipe out the Jewish people. The shul in Masada, that shul made out of stone benches, is used by Jews today to make a bar mitzvah. Ha ha ha, Rome. Where are you? Ki badover asher zodu aleihem. What they tried to do, they ended up with nothing. In the pot that they wanted to cook, they were cooked. And unbelievable Mishnah, unbelievable Hillel. It's so deep, it's so clear. And it's our responsibility to do what we can to keep learning so that we see the beauty of all of the history of the Jewish people pouring out of the Mishnah, pouring out of our sages. That's why without Torah Shebaal Peh, we have nothing. And that's why the Torah Shebaal Peh is what's exalted among all parts of the Jewish life, because it explains and clarifies all the psukim, all the rituals, all the ideals, which are so beautiful for Klal Yisrael. Wow, what a Mishnah. We don't have time to go to the next one, but Yirtzeh Hashem, on Wednesday night, we're going to continue on with the next Mishnah. Before you go, I'm stopping to share this particular piece of information. We're going to come back and we're going to share more in a moment. But I want to ask everyone, once again, I know some people have already done it. I hate to belabor the point. Rabosai, everyone who enjoys the Shiur, who comes You're all blessed. Hashem blesses you with Torah knowledge. We ask that when you have the opportunity to remember, the shul usually gets donations for Yizkor. Pesach went by, we didn't get. Shavuos went by, and unfortunately we didn't get. So now, if you can, please remember and participate by donating to the shul for Yizkor. And in addition, tomorrow night is a scheduled Gemara Shiur, the Yitzchak Dov Rattenstein Shiur. However, it's going to be held at a different time. Since we opened the shul, and many are going to shul, many people who come on the Shiur are going to shul. And shul will be at the time that we would normally give it on the Zoom. And there are some of us who are not going to shul for obvious reasons. And we want to continue the Shiur on the Zoom because we will not be able to give it in shul. So tomorrow night, the Yitzchak Dov Rattenstein Shiur is going to be just tomorrow night at 7 o'clock instead of 7:45. Tomorrow night only. Tomorrow night, the Yitzchak Dov Rattenstein Shiur in the Masechta Makos will be held on this Zoom at 7 p.m. Mincha in shul is about 8:10. We will end the Shiur at about 7:45. People will have enough time, those who do go to shul and still join the Shiur. So that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Why only tomorrow night, Rabbi?
Because
want to be for next week also?
Well, by next week we may be back in shul. We don't know yet. Tomorrow night.
What about Mishnayos and Mishnah Berurah?
And tomorrow night we will also have Mishnayos and Mishnah Berurah, and we're going to go to the Mishnayos right now. We're going to go.
I'm saying tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night we will have Mishnayos and Mishnah Berurah right before the Shiur. Okay.
Okay, Wednesday.
7 o'clock.
Okay, Wednesday back to 7:45.
Wednesday back to 7:45.
1 minute. So what time will be Mishnayos then?
7 o'clock tomorrow night, Mishnayos and Mishnah Berurah.
What time is the Yitzchak Dov Rattenstein Shiur?
And the Yitzchak Dov Rattenstein Shiur will be 10 minutes after 7.
Oh, okay.
Till about 10 to 8.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yes.
We scheduled it. We've worked it out. We want everyone to come and enjoy, and we're going to continue learning. In fact, right now, we're going right now to our Mishnayos.
And Wednesday is going to be the same or what?
No.
With the...
Wednesday, we're back to 7:45.
What's with the Mincha Marif